Hi bass players, welcome back to the channel. Tatiana is here. Today I'm going to talk about something that can make a huge difference for your bass playing. It's how to make transitions between chords. You might know all the chord roots and all your scales and maybe some more cool bass lines, but when the chords change, can you show it musically in your part so that it flows? There are many ways how to play transitions between chords, and today I'm going to show you just a few simple ones, and you can make them your own, you can practice them as much as you want. And the good thing is that you don't need too much of music theory for that. Let's get started. Let's take a very simple chord progression. Let's say C major, F major, G major, and back to C major. So this is our foundation: C, F, G, C. Before we add anything more complicated than this, you need to make sure that you know where your root tones are and you can play them comfortably in a steady rhythm, because the transitions start with knowing where you're going. You need to know what's your next chord, because when you know that, you can start thinking about how to approach it. Let's say we are going from C to F. Do you remember how to play the major triad? 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Now let's see how close 3 and 5 are to F. From 3 you just need a half step up, and from 5 you need a whole step down. It's still close. So we can approach F from 1 fret below or from 2 frets above. Now let's listen to the difference. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it's only one extra note, but suddenly there is a sense of movement. This transitional note is pulling us towards F. Now we need to go from F to G. They are neighbors, it's just a whole step up, so you can just play the next note straight after the first one. However, you can check which other note from F major triad is close to the next root tone G. It's A, and you can use it as a transitional note as well. Another way to use this method, from a chord note to the next root tone, is to play a little bit around the triad, the chord notes of the first chord, and then transition to the next chord. For example, or whatever. Using a scale between two roots is something very simple and very musical. Let's say we are going from C to F. If we are using the C major scale, we are going C, D, E, F, and that's all, we are already there. This is a perfect little transition. We are just using the scale notes as the steps of a ladder, and we are coming from C to F. Going from F to G with a scale, you just don't have anything in between, you press another note after F. Or you can make it a little bit more interesting if you want. Of course, you don't have to play the whole scale, I'm just kidding. The idea is to take a small section of the scale and put it between your root tones. On the way from C to G, this will be. Now let's take this idea a little further. Instead of using only the scale notes, we are going to use all the half steps, the chromatic scale. For example, going from C to F, I could play something like... But usually I play something simpler. I go from another chord note to the target using chromatic notes. For example, or on the way from F to G, I would go, or maybe. The important thing here is that those notes don't necessarily belong to the scale. They function as approach notes. Here's an important moment. In most cases, you need the next root tone and the next chord with it to sound on beat 1, so your transition needs to start before that. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The note E sounded right before the beat 1, before F. This creates anticipation. The listener hears the note E and expects something to happen, even unconsciously, and here they get F. This is called anticipation or anticipational approach, and it's extremely useful in bass playing. The bass isn't only telling us this is the new chord, it's also helping us feel the new chord is coming. Now here is something I really want you to remember. You can have all the notes right, but if your rhythm is wrong, your transition will not work. But the good thing is that you can experiment with the rhythm and still come to the beat 1 to the next root tone. Let's take our chords going from C to F. We can play it in different ways, still simple, using just one approach note, but the rhythm can be different. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same notes, but different options how you can play them. So when you're creating your transition, you can experiment with short notes, long notes, anticipation, syncopation, rests, repeated notes. Often the best transition doesn't mean many notes, sometimes it's just one nicely placed note. I plan to make more videos about rhythm, so keep an eye on them. Here's a little method you can use when you're practicing. When you see 2 or more chords, do this. Step 1, just play the roots. Find them, make sure you know where they are and that you are playing them comfortably. Step 2. Take 2 chords only from your chord progression and find out what chord notes are close to each other. So, for example, this is the C major triad, and these 2 chord notes are really close to F. Step 3. Decide whether you want the scale notes between them or chromatic notes, or maybe none of them. For example, or maybe. Now you've got several different ways how you can connect 2 chords, and you can start building your vocabulary. This is probably the most important tip in the whole lesson. Don't take the complicated 8 chord progression straight away. Take just 2 chords to start. For example, going from D major chord to G minor chord. You play the roots first, then you find out the chord notes for the first chord, which is D major, and which ones are close to the next root tone. You can go from F sharp to G, you can go from A to G, or you can take the A note here because it's the same A, and you go to G here. Then try the scale maybe, or chromatic notes, and see what you like better. Experiment with this and make it your own, and when you are comfortable with just 2 chords, add the next chord. Build your progression 1 chord at a time. This makes your practice much more focused. Now let's do a challenge. Take any 4 chord progression from any song you already know. Don't change the chords. Your only job is to create transitions between all the chords. In this challenge, you are not copying someone's bass part. You are making your own one. For example, these are the chords from the song With or Without You by U2. can play different versions of the transitions. The more you play them, the less you actually think about them. You'll be improvising them on the go. Here you learn how to create choices. When you are building transitions between chords, remember these 5 rules. First, start with the roots. Second, explore the chord notes. Third, use the scales or chromatic transitions between some notes. 4, experiment with rhythm. And most importantly, don't practice the whole progression at once. Take 2 chords, find several ways to connect them, and then gradually put this all together. This is how you build a vocabulary that you can actually use when you are playing. If you liked this lesson, give it a like and subscribe for more bass tips and lessons. Leave a comment if you feel so, and see you next time. Keep grooving!